start.
Okay.
Welcome to Turkey.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Very good, very good. I've
Okay.
been very excited to come to Turkey. You know, it's my first time.
First time?
Yes, never been before.
Very,
so-
very nice, very, very nice. We are very lucky. We are very lucky.
Thank
Today
you, thank
and
you.
Tonight your concert.
Yes.
Müzik hayatınız nasıl başladı?
Well, my parents used to listen to a lot of music when I was little. So I grew up in a home full of music in a way, and my mom, she always loved to sing, and my father would always like write little stories and poems. So somehow that it became like a part of my world. And then later, when I became a little bit older, like around 12 or something, I started playing in a garage band in the little village where I come from.
Yeah.
And that kind of evolved, and I started playing in more bands. And then when I was around 13 or 14, I started my first proper band. And I think that's when I really got like deeper into music, and when I started to find out that music was my call in life.
Very nice. Benim kanalım daha çok müzik eğitimiyle alakalı bir kanal. Ben de sizin eğitim aşamalarınızı merak ediyorum.
Yes, mostly I learned just from my roots, because my roots are kind of in traditional folk music of the Faroe Islands. So it started off as just a natural thing. I would sing every day and study my voice just by myself, by singing somewhere out in nature or at home or in a garage band or something.
Yes.
But later on I felt the need to learn more about my voice, and so when I was 17, I moved to Iceland, to Reykjavik, to study classical singing. And I had a great teacher there called Ólöf Kolbrún, who taught me some good stuff.
You learned classical vocal techniques.
Yes.
Classical vocal techniques. Okay.
Yeah.
Faroe Adaları nasıl bir yer?
Yeah, I mean the Faroe Islands is located like between Iceland and Scotland. So it's kind of, and very small. It's only, the population is only 50,000 people. And so when I was starting off, there were not so many possibilities for singers to get educated, like to get singing lessons and stuff like that. So you kind of had to go somewhere else to do that. But I was lucky that this vocal teacher came to the Faroe Islands and had some courses and that's where I met her the first time.
Yeah.
The nature is very big part of the Faroese culture, because it's all we have there.
Ben İran'da bir şarkıcıyla karşılaşmıştım, Humayun. O bana dağa çıkarak sesini geliştirdiğini söylemişti. Kore'de bir şarkıcıyla tanıştım. O bana suya şarkı söyleyerek sesini geliştirdiğini söyledi. Sizin etkilendiğiniz ne var?
Yeah, I think that I have gotten my biggest inspiration from nature as well, and that's where I started singing in a way. It's been on my long walks when I was little, like somewhere alone up on a mountain, you know. That's where you kind of feel free or something, and you can express yourself in a way that, you know, you don't have to really think about what you're doing. You're just there, and I think that's what really made me want to sing when I was little. And I remember I would later on sometimes sail with my friend into these big mountain caves in the Faroe Islands, where you kind of sail for an hour or something, and then you come into this. You have these caves you can go in, and then you can sing inside the cave, and it's like a really big sound, like reverb, and it's very completely dark. And I love to do that when I was when I lived in the Faroe Islands, and I still do it sometimes when I come home. It's quite an experience, and I remember sometimes that the sea, because we're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, sometimes it's a bit stormy, and you know, sometimes the sea would be like a bit crazy, and then you're in this cave and it's dramatic. So I think that kind of triggered some special vocal techniques for me as well.
Sizi dinleyen Türkiye'deki ve dünyadaki fanlarınız yaptığınız müziği şiirsel buluyorlar. Çok dramatik buluyorlar. Bunun sebebini tam olarak nasıl anlatabilirsiniz? Sadece Kuzey Avrupa ülkeleri mi, yoksa bu anlattıklarınız ne kadar dahil buna?
I think it's something to do with where I come from and how I have experienced that place. It kind of becomes a part of your identity or your way of expressing yourself, and the place I'm from is like full of contrast, you know, like sometimes it's soft and mild and gentle, you know, the nature, and then a moment later it's like stormy and rainy, so it's full of light and dark, and I think that that my voice and my music is very connected to that somehow.
Yaptığı müziği nasıl tanımlar? Çünkü çok farklı buluyorlar bütün yapılan müziklerden.
Yeah, I think I've always found it very hard to kind of put my music into one box, but and I have been like on a journey because when I made my first album I was 16, and it was very inspired by my roots in folk music. But then later on, as I you know, explored more and got deeper into what I was doing, I think I've lately mixed it up with some electronic elements. So I usually just call it like folktronica or something.
Folktronica.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice name. Very nice name.
And it has, you know, some elements of pop, like dark pop and traditional folk music mixed together. I think there's.
Biz genelde Kuzey Avrupa folk müzikleri hakkında çok bilgisiziz. Bu konuda biraz bir şeyler anlatabilir miyiz? Hikayeleri nelerdir, nelerden kaynaklanır?
I think that Scandinavian music maybe has a lot in common. It has a certain tone, like a certain vibe to it that is quite dark and melancholic, I think. And I think that's what like all the Scandinavian music has in common. Although like you can hear difference between like Norwegian music, like traditional Norwegian music, and Faroese and Icelandic, but it all has like the same kind of tone in it, like this quite sad tone in a way. Yes.
Erevizyonla alakalı neler anlatabilir bize? Çünkü bir Erevizyon deneyimi oldu daha önce.
I'm not sure. I think that it's, you know, it's what it is. It's like something that is entertaining, but it's a little bit like fast food.
Fast food, yeah.
It's something you like get quick, and you're like you get it like right into your face, and it's something you remember for a few seconds, and then it's gone, and you're off to the next thing. But I think also it can be entertaining. I mean, I have watched it sometimes with my daughter, and we're like, yes, you know, it's like a football game, you know.
Very nice.
So I mean, but for me, it's not artistically or musically satisfying to watch competitions. I think it's like sports. It's like it's not something you do to kind of you know, get in touch with your deeper emotions. Something you do for entertainment, I guess.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay. Şöyle bir şey diyeceğim. Şimdi siz klasik müzik eğitimi almışsınız ama yaptığınız müziğin içinde belki biraz brutal, farklı stiller kullanıyorsunuz. Bunları nasıl geliştirdiniz?
I remember when I was around like 15 years old, I started in a jazz band actually in the Faroe Islands, and I learned a lot from being around jazz musicians because it taught me that it taught me a lot about improvisation and about all the different layers of the voice, and you know, listening to saxophone players or trumpet players, it's almost like a voice, but they can like do it very harsh and sometimes very soft. So I just got really inspired by that and started to rehearse in a different way. I was not like rehearsing in the normal way. I was more like looking for different sounds in my voice and trying to make it sound like harsh and soft. And so I was just exploring different things. And I think from that I kind of started to experiment a lot with my voice.
Ses genişliğiniz nedir? What's your vocal range?
Vocal range.
Low notes. High
I
notes?
think it goes like 4 octaves.
4 octaves?
Yeah, something like that.
4 octaves. Keys? What's keys?
Yeah, I think my
I want details.
my highest note is E. I don't sing it very often because it's a bit high.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that playing jazz music when I was a teenager kind of made me think of the voice more as an instrument, and I didn't think of my voice so much anymore as just a singer. It was more like it was like an instrument that you can actually play, you know. So it kind of frees your mind to see it that way, because you're not you kind of break all the frames you put around, like, okay, I'm a singer and this is how I sing. You kind of just, you can feel free, and I think that's a great discovery for a singer.
Hangi enstrümanları çalıyorsunuz?
I play guitar. That's kind of my, I guess, my main instrument. I got a guitar from my mom when I was around 10, and she taught me, you know, a few chords. I think 3 chords.
Yeah.
And for many years, I just played 3 chords. You know.
A minor, D minor. Okay.
Yeah. But you can play a lot of songs with only three chords, almost all songs, and so it kind of worked for a while until I got bored and needed to add some chords to the repertoire. And then I play a drum, like a little hand drum, which I bought in Norway many years ago. What else? I play the piano a little bit, and I like instruments. Sometimes I just buy them and try to see if I can play them.
Çok merak ettiğim bir şey var. Türk müzik dinledi mi Türk müziği?
Not enough. I don't know so much about like Turkish music, but I'm very curious now that I've been here.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna buy some music when I go home and
Biz müziklerinizi dinlediğiniz zaman çok garip bir şekilde bizden bir şeyler buluyoruz Türk müziğinden. Çok yakın.
I have a feeling that Turkish music is very expressive, like and a lot of curling in the singing. I think that's my impression, but I'm not sure. I think I've heard you have some a cappella, traditional music here, right? Yeah.
Ya. Dinlemenizi tavsiye ederim çünkü biz gerçekten çok yakın buluyoruz ve çok şaşırıyoruz buna. Acaba tarihi bir bağlantısı var mı, merak ediyoruz.
No, it's difficult to say, but yeah, you might find it if you go somewhere far back to dig. But yeah, it's interesting how you come to different places in the world and find connections, you know, through culture and especially I think singing is it's such a personal thing, like, and such a thing that is so deep within people in different cultures. The way you sing, it's like the voice of the place or something. And
Acaba şey merak ediyorum, yani müziğin içinde acaba dinsel bir etki var mı yaptığı müziğin içinde?
yeah, no, my music is not connected to religion or anything like that. I'm inspired by the things that happen around me in the world, and also by nature.
Yeah.
Like you just a feeling that you can't express, and just like because when you're alone in nature, you're like you see sometimes you see like just a very simple thing of just being here right now in the world, and I think that is the most inspiring feeling to write from when I write music, to just be. And the same when you sing, to not like be anywhere else rather than just right there where it's going on. It's so easy to kind of, how's what's that guy thinking now? All these things that you get carried away. But I think when I sing, it really helps me to just be present somehow.
Okay. Şöyle. The Last Kingdom, Game of Thrones, bu dizilerde özellikle ben The Last Kingdom hastası bir kişiyim. Bunların müziklerini yaptığınızı duydum ve gerçekten çok şaşırdım, çok etkilendim. Bunlarla ilgili neler anlatmak istersiniz?
Yeah, I got into that kind of accidentally. I wasn't, I hadn't planned to kind of start making music for games and movies and stuff like that, but it kind of, the Game of Thrones thing, it was this song that I had written on one of my albums. It's called So Close to Being Free. And it was used in one of the trailers for Game of Thrones because they thought it fitted like the thing. Yeah. And that was really cool because at the time I love Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah.
So I was watching it and I was like, woo! And then later, Last Kingdom, that was the composer John Lunn from the UK contacted me because he had seen a video of my song Tröllabunden, which I sing with the drum, and he was looking for some sounds, for the series that he was doing, and then he phoned me up and I flew to London and we tried some things, some ideas, and we really liked working together, so we just started to write a lot of stuff for the series. And
ben Last Kingdom'un trailerını izlediğimde yani gerçekten çok şaşırdım çünkü çok farklı kullanmışsınız sesinizi.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're very cool.
Yeah, that was actually the title song for Last Kingdom. It was the very first thing we did when I came to London, and he said, he just had the music. He said, I have this music here, I'm thinking you can try something, and I just went into the vocal booth, and it was just an improvisation. It was like, okay, I'll try something. Just try it, whatever. And then it was that very first thing I did that he ended up using. Often, I guess that the first thing that comes to your mind is often the best idea. I think I tried many things after that, I also have this idea, but the first one was the most authentic.
Authentic, yes. Bazı Türkiye'deki fanlarınız diyor ki, hemen sen söyle hızlı.
Some of your Turkish fans say that.
Ankara'ya gelemeyeceğim diyor konserini izlemeye ama o kadar çok seviyorum ki sizin için İzlandaca öğrenmeyi bile istiyorum diyor yani.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. Super.
Oh no, my mom's gonna be angry. I'm swearing on television. They want to learn the language. They should. My best advice is to go to the Faroe Islands in the summer and start slowly. Learn a few words.
Süper. Sahnede en çok önem verdiğiniz şey ne?
kıyafet, ışık, ses, nelere dikkat ediyor?
Yeah, I think that it's again what we talked about before. You know, that to capture just that feeling of just being there, like very present. I think that's the most important thing. Especially if you want to connect with the audience, I think that the clothes you wear or whatever makeup you have on, it won't connect you to your audience. Oh. The important thing is to kind of be present, be there in the room, and you know, try and not be anywhere else. And I think that's the same thing, the same feeling that I try to capture. Like when you're all alone on a mountaintop, you're there, yeah. And when you're on stage, you just try to be like as free as you can, and not kind of be too ego, like to kind of let go of your ego for a while, and and just be free.
Yeah. Süper. Neden acaba kulağınızla alakalı olan şey müzik dinlemenizle mi alakalı oluştu? Bir az duyduğunuzu söylediniz.
No, I've always had a quite bad hearing. Like it started like a few years ago. I think it's a mix of too much rock and roll. Yeah. But also it's also something to do with my family has a low hearing, so but it's become much worse the past 5 years. I can feel it now. Like we're talking, I'm like, what? But I just think about it when I talk to people. When I'm performing, I don't think about my hearing, but it's mainly the deep notes that I don't hear so well.
Okay. Etkilendiğiniz şarkıcılar, müzisyenler var mı? Kimler?
There are many singers that inspire me, like and musicians. It's been like on my way, like it's been quite a handful. I remember that Johnny Mitchell had a really big effect on me when I was a teenager. Björk, of course, and male singers like Robert Plant. You know, expressive singers who kind of really have strong expressions. And then there's a Peruvian singer called Uma Sumac.
Yeah.
Do you know about her?
Yeah.
She's
Incredible.
my hero.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Your hero.
I really love her. Like I remember when I heard her the first time, I was like, wow, you can do that? I'm gonna try that. You know? I was very inspired by her.
Yeah.
And then there's a Sami singer called Mari Boine who also really inspired me. So yeah, I could keep going, but there are many.
Okay, thank you.
Many great artists.
Ses tellerini, sesini korumak için neler yapıyor? Özel bir şey yaptığı var mı?
Yeah, that's a good question because I've tried a little bit of both. Like I've tried losing my voice when I was just before I went to Iceland. When I was 16 or something, I lost my voice because I had been singing like without any technique. Okay. And I was, you know, as I told you, I had started to experiment a lot and do many crazy screams and sounds. So my voice started to like just get really hard, like what you call it? I couldn't get any sound.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I went to Iceland to kind of get some insight in the technique. Yeah. And after that, I learned to kind of protect my voice in a way, mainly actually to just listen to your body and feel when you kind of cross your limits, you know, kind of to know your limits. But I guess you have to push it to the limit to know your limit. So it's like it's something you have to kind of learn, I guess. But what I try to do, if my voice is tired, I just try to get plenty of sleep. I think that's the best cure for a tired voice. You can, drink all this tea and honey and all that.
I don't know.
Sleep is much better.
Sleep.
I think so.
Okay.
And just be gentle to it,
Okay. Dur bakalım başka neler var. Şimdi ben gelen konuklarıma özellikle böyle bilmediğim tarz bir şeyler yapıyorlarsa folk müziklerini çok merak ediyorum. Çünkü ben de Türkiye'de bir folk müzik, halk müziği mezunuyum. Acaba küçük bir örnek verebilir miyiz bize Faroe Adaları ile alakalı?
Okay, let me think.
Okay.
I'll do one. It's a short one.
Short one.
Okay.
Klokkan sitter av støyne, hakkar og i bøyne. Fyrra vær et potta blått, anna vær et utskott og i rynke. Sia vær en røvar i at hinke. Nu skal Eivør vendas her og i rynke.
Oh, very nice. Ne kadar ilginç. Bir anda böyle bir masal dünyasına giriyor gibiyiz. Fairy. Yeah. We are now here, but you're singing. We are. Oh my God! This is very colorful and mountains, seas.
Angels are coming.
Yeah. So very cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Bütün kanaldaki takipçilerine ne söylemek ister?
Oh, my message to if it's to my fans, I would just want to say just thank you for everything. Thank you for, your support and for, being there. It means the world to me. And to the people who don't know me from before, just hello, nice to meet you. And, take care of each other.
Thank you. Okay, this is over. But gifts for you.
Oh yes?
Yes.
Wow.
First, my sponsor, Volkazon.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. What is it? Like
This is pastil. The throat pastil.
oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Protect your voice.
This is for
Wow,
you.
this is a
And
big thing.
And then other way. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I love it. This is like a proper kit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yes. It's very nice. Thank you. And this is for you too.
Thank you. Wow.
Please open. Please open.
An early Christmas present.
Yeah. Yeah. No. This is Beauties in Istanbul.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. No. Wow.
This is
Wow,
coffee,
look at
espresso,
that.
and this is Maiden Tower.
This is
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then like the plate.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay.
Cheers.
And biz Türkiye'de kahve içerken yanında lokum.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
there's more?
Yeah. And
I have to buy a new suitcase.
welcome to Turkey.
Wow, thank you. What is
for you.
this?
Please open. Please open.
Wow. Oh,
think,
this
you
is
should
my
try first.
favorite. I know this. You can buy something similar.
This is rose.
This is rose?
Rose. Please try.
Oh my God, can I try one?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't tried this before.
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
Cheers. Mmm. Mmm, good.
Good. Near coffee.
Yeah, you should drink coffee too.
Bir lokum,
Yeah.
bir kahve.
One shot Turkish coffee, one
Yes,
shot
and
light.
one.
Wow, it's good.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna go to my room and eat it all.
Yok,
Like-
yes. Akşam konserimizde. Çok
Thank
teşekkür
you
ederiz.
so much.
Sağ olun. Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I say one more thing about
okay.
because you asked me about I shouldn't have this maybe
Ya
because you asked me about the singing thing.
Yeah.
Like you thought that Faroese traditional singing was
sorry.
similar to Turkish traditional singing, and we talked
Yes.
about like how singing kind of is often like a part of every culture. It's something that I think the beautiful thing about singing is that it kind of brings people together.
Yes.
And like Faroese folk music, we don't have any traditional instruments in the Faroe Islands, so it's all about singing. And like all our history and was written down very late, and it's all just been carried on from mouth to mouth, like through the years, through singing, like through chain dances and people singing together. So I think that it's probably similar other places in the world where like you tell the stories through a song, through a folk song. So I think that might be like the reason why you kind of find similarities in singing, like in different places.
Anlattığı o halk türküsünün anlamı neydi?
Oh yeah, it's actually a folk song that it's just the first one that came to my head, but it's like it's called Shelter, and it's like these short folk songs that you often sing to kids. And I remember this is one of the first one I remember from when I was little, and my grandmother used to sing this song for me, like when she put me to sleep, she'd be like,
Sleep song. It's a sleep song.
well, not necessarily. It's not
Kelimeler
about
mi
sleeping,
anlatıyor?
but it's the kind of song that you'll sing to you teach the children, because they are often quite short and have a lot of rhymes, and the lyrics are often very crazy. Like yeah,
What?
this one is about a crow.
About crow.
It's about a crow, yeah, the
Oh.
bird, yeah.
Ne diyor merak ediyoruz.
Yeah.
Please tell us.
Well, it's more like a rhyme. It's about the crow that is sitting on a rock somewhere, and it's and then it's like just these crazy rhymes. I can't even translate it, but it's like it's just like a description of like a moment that's going on. A crow is sitting there, and then it's telling what it's doing. The crow is doing this and that, and the crow is singing. And
You watched my video.
oh, on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
How?
I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, yes, I definitely want to
thank you.
do this. So it's
Thank you
really,
so much.
really cool.
Thank you so
I'm gonna watch more. You have plenty of things, right, online. I haven't seen all of it, but it's really
Thank
nice.
you so much.
Thank you.